Hello, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to One Too Many, a show about wine. We're doing red wine today, not just any red wine. We're going over to Australia and we're doing full-bodied red wine. These wines are some of the most full-bodied styles in the world today. Australia is an absolutely amazing country that makes wine. They're the sixth biggest wine producing country in the world, and they're the fourth biggest exporter of wine in the world after France, Spain and Italy. But these wines are definitely up there with some of the best. We've got a Cabernet Sauvignon from Coonawarra, and we've got an amazing Shiraz from the Barossa Valley. Both of them extremely full of flavour, lots of licorice and spice, black currant in there as well, leather, black pepper. But these wines certainly aren't to drink on their own. These are definitely food wines. If you've ever had full-bodied red wine before, you know that it absolutely matches amazingly well with grilled meats and stews and casseroles, big sort of tomato pasta dishes. We're going to try a couple of these wines now, and I'll let you know exactly what I think. So it's not just Cabernet Sauvignon and Shiraz that are some of the main grape varieties or red grape varieties out there in Australia. They do some amazing Merlot, Pinot Noir, Garnacha, Pinot Meunier, just to name a few. There's about 90 main grape varieties in Australia. It makes us learn Australian wine just a little bit easier. When you look at places like Italy, for instance, that have got over 15,000 grape varieties, makes things a little trickier just to sort of learn exactly what you like in wine. If you haven't noticed already, I've got some decanters on the table. Now, when it comes to red wine, I always believe it's best to open the wine 20 minutes, half an hour before you drink the wine. Only just you've got to let this wine breathe. You know, it's been in the bottle for a couple of years now. Just think of it as us getting out of bed first thing in the morning. We need to wake up, we need to stretch, we need a bit of air just to wake the wine up. And it's exactly why we put them in decanters. You don't need to spend a huge amount of money on these decanters. These are actually from IKEA, wine glasses as well. So I'm telling you how to taste wine on a budget here. But let's get straight into it. So we're going to start off with the Cabernet Sauvignon from Coonawarra. Coonawarra is in South Australia, pretty much halfway between Melbourne and Adelaide. And what's so unusual about this particular region is the soil. Lots of red soil, lots of limestone, and it really does make an impact on what the final wine's going to taste like. Oh, wow, absolutely amazing. And lots of black coming in here straight away. You can have a look at the wine, really, really dark, ruby colour. You know this is just going to be packed full of flavour in there. A little bit of licorice as well, spice, but all those sort of dark fruits. So black currant and black cherry in there. Wow. Oh, wow. Full-bodied red wine, but tannins are quite low. Quite a fruity style Cabernet Sauvignon here. Flavour just keeps going on and on and on. Wow. You've left with this almost this lovely black spice, black peppercorns, for instance, just at the back of your palate. But this is, for a Cabernet Sauvignon, and for the price, which we'll go into a little bit later, a cracking wine. Absolutely amazing. Wow. Yeah, really, really good. Definitely one if you like your big full-bodied red wines and Cabernet Sauvignons. If you've had a Cabernet from France or America, yeah, definitely Coonawarra makes a huge difference. We're going to go on to the second wine now. We're going to go over to the Barossa Valley. Not just a wine region, there's huge amounts of farming done there. They make some of the best produce in Australia, not to mention some cracking wine as well. Shiraz is probably the native grape variety to Barossa Valley. The valley itself is made up of small towns. They have some of the oldest vines in Australia. Some of these vines date back to 100 years. Now what happens is that the older your vines get, the smaller the yield. So you don't get as many grapes. But what you do get is concentrated juice. So old vine Shiraz from the Barossa Valley is amazing. Let's have a little taste and see what it smells like. So very, very different to the Cabernet Sauvignon. Straight away, very more intense flavour, very more intense aroma there. Lots of blackcurrant, lots of spice, licorice, cassis, blackcurrant mint, almost a bit like peppermint flavour in there as well. Wow, really intense flavour, more intense than the Cabernet from Coonawarra. But again, just leaves your mouth salivating. Again, these are full-bodied red wines, but you don't taste the tannin. There's so much fruit on these wines. For a full-bodied red Shiraz from the Barossa Valley, that's quite an easy drinking red wine. I'm quite surprised about that. When we were travelling around the Barossa Valley, we actually spent a couple of nights in one of those static caravans. I thought, come on, let's slum it for a few nights. It was actually quite a nice caravan, to be honest. We spent the day with some amazing winemakers doing a couple of tastings. Took a couple of bottles of Shiraz back to our caravan, sat out on the little terrace, watched the sun go down. It was absolutely amazing. It wasn't until it started getting a bit darker that all the other static caravans round us, nobody was sitting outside. Everyone was sitting indoors. And I thought to myself, well, why is no one sitting outside? It's such a glorious evening, watching the sun go down, really nice sort of humidity in the air. It wasn't until I looked up, I actually thought I was in some sort of Indiana Jones film. The entire roof of our patio was covered in bugs, cockroaches. I didn't realise by leaving the light on, obviously that attracts everything else. So that was quite an experience in the Barossa Valley. It took us quite a few hours to get rid of those bugs. And then I realised why everyone was sitting indoors. Everyone else just must have looked at us thinking, bloody tourists. But hey, we learn, we do learn. But we were drinking some amazing wine, so it didn't really bother me. I will tell you a story about Barossa Shiraz that I sold to a customer once a few years ago now. And the gentleman had ordered a steak. It had been seasoned in the kitchen by the chef. He asked me for some black pepper, so I gave him some black pepper. Huge amounts of black pepper on top of his steak. And he was drinking a Shiraz from the Barossa Valley. He actually ended up sending his steak back because he thought the chef had over-seasoned it. Not realising that one of the biggest flavour profiles in a Shiraz from the Barossa Valley is black pepper. So not only did the chef season the steak, he had added additional black pepper on, and he's drinking a real big black peppery red wine. It wasn't until I sort of pointed this out to the gentleman that he was blown away. He didn't realise that wine had a huge, huge effect on food and on tasting food. So there's something for you out there, guys. Don't ever season your food before you order your wine. So black pepper in Shiraz. So if you order that to go with your steak, you don't need to put any more black pepper on. But yeah, great, great wines. It'd be interesting to see how much they cost. Just having a look at the back of these wine labels, it just reminded me about one of my biggest pet hates. They both say serve at room temperature. Well, how long's a piece of string? Your house could be warmer, colder than my house. So if you see that on the back of a label, don't pay too much attention to it. Drink the wine however you'd like to drink it. Some people actually like drinking chilled red wine. You go and get yourself a nice sort of light-bodied red wine, like a Pinot Noir. Pop it in the fridge for 5-10 minutes. A nice glass of chilled red wine on a hot sunny day is really, really, really nice. What happens is when you chill the red wine down, tannins get reduced and opens up the fruit. So if you don't like your dry red wines, pop it in the fridge for 5-10 minutes and have a little go at that. I think you'll be surprised at how nice chilled red wine can actually be. So prices. First of all, we're going to go with the Coonawarra Cabernet Sauvignon. £10 a bottle from Marks and Spencer's. So £10, yeah, it's a bit more expensive than some of the wines we've done in previous episodes. But again, as I always say, I think you definitely get better value wine for your money. And then definitely the deal of the day, $5.99 for the Barossa Shiraz from Lidl. $5.99. I think that's the cheapest one we've actually featured so far this season. Absolutely amazing style of Shiraz there. But two great styles of full-bodied red wines. Definitely worth going to try one of them or try both of them. But yeah, I hope you enjoy them. I'm definitely going to be finishing these two off today. I might put a steak on minus the black pepper. Thanks for joining me again on this episode of One Too Many, show about wine. If you want to subscribe to the channel, please do. Or go and follow me on social media, Instagram, Twitter. If you've got any questions about the Barossa Valley or Coonawarra, you can send me a question over there. I'll do my very best to answer them. In the meantime, cheers guys, and we'll see you again soon.